All right. Hello. If you haven't already, please make sure that you vote in the poll here to pick which of these A1s you like the best. These are actual A1s from a contest that I judged recently. It was an international contest with a bunch of different categories, and I was given the category of page 1 to vote on. These are the pages, some of the pages that I received. These are the ones that I named first, second, third, and honorable mentions. And I was just curious to see what you all thought of them and what you would pick. So give you another moment to vote. And then when I send the meeting video out, I will also include a link to where all the winners of this and the other categories went up. So all right. I will show you all the results here. A was the big winner by far, which is very interesting to me. Hope lifts off. You guys really like this vertical with the rocket? So in case you're interested, I will tell you which ones I picked. So for first place, I chose F. I think it's a bit more striking in bigger format. You can see it high res than it was on this little version. It's a take on the Lebanese flag with the tree of the flag kind of falling apart. I chose it because I thought it was a graphic that really well illustrated the story. I mean, I don't have the story, but I don't need the story to be able to tell that the gist of the story is that Lebanon's not doing great. The tree's falling apart. For second place, I went with this Air India crash. I thought the photos were really well used, and the headline treatments, although I can't read the headlines, did a good job of relaying some information and complementing and contrasting the headlines without taking, or the photos rather, without taking away from them. Third place, I picked this one again because I thought this photo is very striking. When I initially opened this page, I actually gasped, and the design really enhances the photo and makes it stand out. I hate that they have this giant ad on their front page, but that's not the designer's fault. I think the designer worked really well with what they had. And then for the honorable mentions, I picked the other three, including this one, interestingly enough, that 2/3 of you think I should have given first place to. I will point out in my defense that in a higher resolution of this, you can tell that this is not a very great quality picture. So in print, this wouldn't have looked super great. And then this one I also picked as an honorable mention because I thought it really told the story well. So, thank you for participating in the vote today. It was very interesting. We will have another poll coming up shortly, but I will hand you over to Emma for other things right now.
Okay. So today I'm actually presenting for Mary. She's off this week. And the topic that she wanted to go over were some key points on how to help you stay on top of your workflow every day. So I'm just going to go through the bulleted points that she put together here. Just some general points. She mentioned when you're asking for help writing your headlines, it really helps to be specific in how many columns wide, how many decks, and approximately what your point size is when asking editors or the copy desk to edit your headlines for you. When you alert the copy desk that we sent a page similar to what Alicia emailed about earlier, I believe that was today or yesterday, that when you send one page and you're not able to send the jump, or if you're sending a page that does jump, make sure you're communicating that, because the copy desk does have the same person usually proofing both of those pages with the story and the story that it jumps, the page that the story jumps to. So make sure you're communicating that. She found that helps it get along faster. Right away, placing stories and photos off to the side of your page until the content is ready. It really makes the page move on a lot more efficiently. So then you have ready stuff off to the side when everything is ready to go and you don't have as much to place all at one time. When she looks at her queue for her pages for the day, she's checking what the deadline is. When she opens the paper's budget and she's seeing what's ready, what the deadlines are, when it plans to be ready. And she'll start working on anything that is ready, kind of going into the previous mention of placing what you can on your pages since she has them all checked out. I think I laughed when she put this, and I didn't tell her. I don't know if she merely wanted to present it, but I am. She says that she talks to herself a lot, and I can admit I do this too. She said, I talk to myself a lot because many times we're working on advanced pages. So I talk out loud to make sure the correct content for the correct day is getting on the right pages. I talk through it all, she said. She constantly toggles between pages to get them finished and staying on top of the 8 ball. And I think this is a really great one, getting the weather page done ahead of time before placing the graphics that come in at their assigned time per our Google Doc, whatever times are. You can get all your sun and moon and all that stuff done ahead of time. And then she had a couple things that were more specific to certain papers. Detroit Lakes is a good example to working ahead on, for example, their obit page. They usually have stuff ready to go so you can get content on the page before you know how many obits are there. And then as soon as you can, you place the obits and fill the remaining space. Detroit Lakes is not like one of those, like the forum where they have 30 paid obits. You know, it's usually something smaller, a smaller amount where you're able to actually place the content. So I completely understand that one. City briefs running on obit pages, like for Grand Forks. In this situation, they have that placeholder filler. Go ahead and place the obits on the page, and then when the city briefs come in, you can easily move ahead and finish the page, or let the editor know if you need more room for obits or whatever happens to add to that. Usually, very rarely, I don't think in the past, I think it's safe to say a year, I haven't seen city briefs being sold larger than that placeholder that is on that Grand Forks template. So I totally agree with that, where that's definitely a page where you can lay out in advance, get your obits on the page. And then we have those modulus fillers, or sometimes they actually have a brief where you can fit it on that page and get it out the door, so you're not having to wait until the city briefs come in, which I believe is almost 2 hours after obits come in. I think it's 2 and 4 o'clock, the time in between those. Okay, that's all of Mary's notes. I'm going to go ahead. If anyone has any questions, don't be afraid to post them in here. Angela said, I think she meant for you to say that she swears a lot. I mean, it might not be only me. It might be Mary, but she's not here to comment. We'll assume it's all positive, right? But if you guys have any questions on Mary's notes or comments, please put them in there. I'll make sure to read them out for the recording here. I'm going to go into the style guide feature for today, which is going to be spacing and rules. Which I feel like we've already covered kind of first off and when we first started going over the items from our style guide. So I'm not going to go into it into grave detail. Also, because of that, everything I'm going over today is all in our library. So there really shouldn't be a call to go over it in detail. But obviously the 0.125 inches, the 9 points in between a hairline and another element, those rules, both solid and the dotted, are in our library. And then the space between a photo and cut line box, again, is 2 points. But again, that's in the library and you should be using that. So that's set up each time. And then hairlines are the 0.5 points. But the point I wanted to mention about that was, remember that, and I think the only examples I could come up with were for Brainerd and Detroit Lakes. Those are two of our papers that like to have their big photo across 6 columns on the page. And sometimes that may come down in the story, the big photo and the headline and a cut line is up there, but the stories down the left rail or 2 columns or breaks, it's not modular by any means. So make sure you're running a thicker rule so it's clear the centerpiece and that little bit of the story, whether it be a 3 column by 2 inches deep down there, goes with the centerpiece. So it's grouped together. And that should be at least 2 to 3 points in weight. So that sticks out. And so it's really clear that those are separated items. All right. And then lastly, I have just a couple of topics to address with everybody. Not having subheads at the bottoms of columns, including the scoreboard. What an example of what we've been having of that. I'm just going to increase this size and present. Please. I honestly don't know which one I just presented, so you're probably all looking at yourselves. I don't know. Okay, you are. Lovely. I meant to do that. Stop presenting.
All right. Well, I'm setting that up. I did set the second poll to go up, so make sure you vote in that as well. We are working on updating some pieces of our style guide, and as we go through them, we will be asking your opinions on a number of them so that we can have consensus, since as we just demonstrated, we don't all agree on what best design is. So we definitely want your opinions on things. So thank you.
Here is my lovely presentation. Screenshot of this example. What we're getting at is this Eli 67, Southridge 64 is at the bottom of the second column, and the information or the body text that goes with that is in the third column. We definitely want to avoid this at all costs. Sometimes fixing it is as easy as running it 2/3 or 3/4, adjusting how many columns your story is. Sometimes it calls for running it down 2 columns of the page versus running it across 6 columns. Maybe you're running the story over 4 and then another one over 2. So it's definitely something that you need to consider and not just leave as is, because this is affecting readability. I don't think I need to go into it in more detail, but if you have questions on this, please reach out. I'm going to stop presenting. Duluth weather, reminder on this, that no longer has a fill ad on it. There is information that goes in that spot. So make sure that you are not placing a fill ad and the correct information is being placed. On e-edition days, there's still situations where the editors are being tagged instead of the FNS staff that is staffed to cover that paper that day. It is being noted on the budget those days where we see it happening. So make sure you are reading the budget and you are checking to see who you're supposed to be going to for questions that day. And obviously, if you see that there's no one listed, let a hub manager on duty know, and we'll get it sorted out. It usually just, if there's X's or something at the top, but we need to make sure that we're tagging the FNS staff and not those editors. Let's do that for them. I think we can do that for them. And then the last thing to go over was make sure you are checking in your pages if you are having long periods of time away from your desk. This is something that's not new, even working from home or working remotely, that if you're away from your desk on lunch, if you're gone for the day, 2 very good examples of long periods of time, make sure you are checking in all your pages. And it seems like it can be a very cumbersome task. It's not. Remember, you can use the multi-page check-in You all know how to use that, right? And I don't know if you're nodding because you're all pictures, you're not faces. So if you don't know how to do it, why don't you reach out to me? Because then I would love to show you. It's so amazing. I don't have
It is
anything
also
else.
in the page track guide on your designer website if you don't want to talk to Emma because she's terrifying.
I don't have anything else. Michael or Alicia, do you guys have anything you want to add before Alicia's poll?
Well, I do want to say welcome to Jason Walters, who joined our team officially on Monday. He's very excited to be here, and we are very excited to have him. There, he's a person. He's not a face. Welcome to the team, Jason. He's been working for a few nights now, and he's already learning quickly. So we're excited to see what he's going to do for us as he catches on and learns our system. So Lauren Wilson, as I sent an email, will be coming back to the team. Her first official shift will be the 18th. So 2 weeks from today, she'll officially be back. Ashlyn is back now. Starting this week, she came back, and we are expecting Paula to be back, at least part-time, starting next week. So we are going to be back at full staff in no time, which I know you're all very, very excited about. I can tell you that we're excited about that as well. Thank you all for everything you've done to help us get through. Just some interesting changes that we've had recently. A heads up that we are going to have some early deadlines on the already early deadlines for Jamestown, Grand Forks, and Fargo for tomorrow's, for Saturday's print paper that we finish tomorrow, as well as the 2 print editions next week for those papers. The Detroit Lakes Press doesn't have the staff that they need in terms of getting inserts put in a timely manner. And so the only way for them to be able to make the mail run on time like they need to do for our subscribers to actually get their papers on time is for us to get things earlier. They've got the people hired. They just have to get them in and trained, which they expect will be done after next week. So we'll just be having some fun with deadlines for the next week and a half. And then things should go to what the normal schedule will look like, and we'll be able to fall into a new routine. And then, like we've discussed, we'll have a few schedules that'll be changing. At least one person will be shifting earlier. One person will be moving to a 32-hour position that they've requested. Some changes like that. So yeah, I'm excited to see what the new normal looks like, because I think it's going to, once we get the pieces of it figured out, I think it's going to be easier on all of you. So, all right. Y'all are throwing me off with this poll. We kind of need a clearer consensus than this. So we have, okay, 2 of you haven't voted yet. Who didn't vote? Jack?
I didn't vote either.
Okay.
I don't know where the, I didn't see a poll, so I thought maybe you guys had access to some.
On the side, there's like some shapes, like on your top right corner. If you click on the shapes, then there
Activity.
should be a poll.
Oh yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Everybody stare at Jack while he votes. Did anybody have anything else or questions or anything like that while we await Jack's vote?
Well, I'm trying to click on the one I want. Oh, it says poll ended. So it's not with.
You have to scroll down. Scroll down to the second poll. We're on the second poll.
Oh,
Yeah, you missed your chance on the first poll, Jack.
Photos, no text over them. The second ones? Okay. I voted.
Okay. There's the results, everyone. The official vote is, it depends. Okay. Well, I guess that remains an issue then, that we will just sort of based on the situation. Use your judgment. If you have questions, ask. And for right now, we'll just leave the style guide written as it is, and perhaps revisit that another time. So, all right. Anything else while we're
Part
here?
of that with Alicia, I think part of it comes from, I think we have just a few papers who prefer it
Mhm.
one way. So it's probably hard to, maybe that's why it's hard to vote. I guess maybe if you just clear your mind, what would you want to see? I feel like, maybe removing the it depends, because I feel like that's kind of where we're at, where when we do these polls, we want to see if maybe something needs to change. So, I mean, I don't think, because I'll admit that's how I answered. I answered because I'm like, well, some like to have the borders on the photos in their centerpiece just because, when really I should have, in my personal opinion, they shouldn't have the border, in my opinion.
Okay. Maybe I need to word the question more specifically next time. The poll questions are: if you're in charge of the world and you get to decide what the papers do,
Yes.
doesn't matter what they normally want. You're the boss now. You pick it. So I'll clarify that more next time.
That'll be awesome.
All right. Well, thank you all. Enjoy the rest of your day. Wait, Michael, did you have something? Oh, you made your face like you wanted to say something. So
No, I'll live. I'm good. Thanks.
sorry, just his face. Thank you all. I appreciate it. As I said, I will send the link to the contest results with the judges' comments and all the other categories and everything if you want to look at them. Like I said, they're international papers from all over, and the results were really, really quite interesting. So thank you all. Enjoy the rest of your day.